We are here for another episode of Rap. This month we take on August. Let's go. Wonderful, wonderful. So we are back for another episode of Wrapped. We are going to jump right into August, which has been interesting, not quiet, but also not jam-packed. So we're gonna get into it. I have my co-host, Goat the Great, Aaron. I'm sorry, I keep got to bring it back because it's like it's planned now in mind.
Yeah,
I can't help
that's
it.
how the brain works, right?
I have my friend to the Wrapped. I don't know how we describe you. You've been here
Guest.
before.
Our
A
Wrapped
guest.
colleague.
Yeah, you
Guest
are.
star. I don't know.
You're, if you've seen him on Juxtapose, and not to cut you off, my man MVP.
That's it.
And I'm K Styles. So for
So
August,
Styles.
yeah, a lot's up.
A lot's up.
Inflation's still up. I don't know. I mean, it's not coming down apparently.
It came down a little bit.
Did it come
Slight.
down enough?
Well, I mean, the goal is 2%, and it's
Yeah.
now at 2.9.
That 0.9 makes a difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey,
It's been at 3 though for a minute.
It was, and when at its peak, it was at 9.1 or 9.2%.
it's
So it's trending
going.
in the right direction.
It's coming. Okay,
It's happening.
To jump into our first topic, which I think we're trying to break them up into politics and not politics, because as we get into this election season, politics is probably going to take up a lot of our time. So your boy Trump is out here making
Hold on, my boy?
Who's
proverbial.
boy?
The proverbial boy
Proverbial.
Trump.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He's out there making the rounds. He was on Aiden Ross's stream. He was on with Elon Musk and on X, which always sounds like inappropriate site.
I don't call it X.
You still call it Twitter?
For sure. It's not enough syllables for me.
What? It's X.com. That sounds terrible.
Sounds crazy.
It sounds
You prefer Twitter.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the whole discussion of they used to call it tweeting. What do you call it? You Xing?
Xing?
Like, what are you
Like,
doing? Like, that's outrageous.
He
He
man.
messed up the whole bird.
Yeah, he
Xing
screwed it
just
up.
doesn't work. It doesn't.
And then it
doesn't
was such a recognizable logo too with the bird.
Yeah.
Elon Musk really screwed that up.
Screwed the pooch, as they would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was on with Aiden Ross. Everybody's boy's Trump, and I guess tell me about that because I didn't watch it.
Well, as you know, me personally, I find all presidential candidates insufferable idiots. So
Damn.
I
Damn.
do. I don't.
All?
I do all of them.
Every single one?
Every single one
That
of them.
you've been around for.
Well, yeah. Well, not all of them that I've been around for. I
But
would
just
say
recently.
after Obama, it's been
Downhill.
terrible. Yeah, it's been
Downhill.
really bad. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Donald Trump. The only one that seems to be a little more tolerable so far is Kamala. She seems like the only one that's like, okay, maybe she could bring back,
Some
make
balance.
the presidency great again, maybe. But I didn't watch too much of it. It was just more so of the fact that he even sat down with Aiden. And apparently he asked Aiden to do another stream, but from the White House when he's president. So this is going to be
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
One thing I would say about Trump, outside of the fact that he's a massive crybaby and everything that doesn't go his way is an issue, he knows how to target younger demographics. Like first it was the sneakers. They also, the focus on crypto and making sure that that's a thing.
And he did 2 sneaker drops.
He knows how to target that
The
younger
NFTs.
demographics. So I got to give him that.
And then he was in the hood with Chef G. you
No,
know?
we're not going to talk about that.
I'm just saying he knows how to pander to the
he
groups
knows-
that he wants to pander to.
And that's the thing. I remember saying, I don't think I ever said this on the podcast, but I think that his campaign does a very good job of finding people that would not normally vote for him and make them follow him.
So this is really inappropriate, but if he was gay and he wanted to turn someone, he has what's,
I don't know how we went there, but yes, honestly,
yeah, he knows
according
how to
facts,
turn them.
According to facts, he would be a
He knows how to turn them.
converter.
Yeah.
And this conversation just went off the rails, and I think it's all in harmless fun. So
yeah, absolutely,
don't cancel us,
absolutely.
please.
Yeah, no.
But so yeah, he was on Aiden Ross. I heard a lot about the one with Elon, and it sounded like the one with Elon was the there was a lot of comments about him talking about like nuclear war and shit like that.
He was rambling on. I attempted to listen to it, but it went on for over 2 hours. He was able to pull in like 1.6 million. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been higher. But when I was able to actually listen in, it was around 1.6 million people listening. And he was just rambling on about various topics. They didn't speak on some of the more important things that I was listening for, but it was just a ramble session. As a matter of fact, because Joe Biden is no longer the running mate, well, for the Democratic Party, I'm starting to see a lot of holes in his own mental ability. You know, he's now starting to sound like the one that's slurring his speech and rambling on and can't put together a cohesive thought. So he probably should do a little bit less of those. And that's probably one of the reasons why he's afraid to debate Kamala or whatever, you know, the pronunciation.
What did he say? He started calling her a ridiculous name. I was like,
really?
I look it up.
He always has a name for his
ops.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
it was Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala.
Is it Crooked Kamala or Crooked Kamala? Because everyone's crooked.
Except for him.
Yeah, well.
90 felonies.
Which is
I know.
Yeah, Kamala, I think is what he posted.
That's insane.
I think he was trying to pull another kufifi, you know, and he had posted. You remember that last?
I don't remember the kufifi.
So he had. I think he was trying to write COVID or something like that.
Oh wow.
And it's my assumption. We don't know. He texted it. He tweeted it. Back then it was Twitter. He tweeted it, and it was just like, what is he talking about?
That's nuts.
And there was never an answer. So, anywho,
I just think I want to say because it's Aiden Ross. I'm just wondering if he actually is like a fan of Trump, or is he just doing this for?
I mean, is Aiden Ross?
I also
Ross
get the
a clout
feeling
chaser?
that he's one of those people that likes to just grab attention
Yeah.
and latch into what is happening, what's popular, what's popping. So, and let's be honest, when it comes to what looks cool right now in terms of the president, Trump is the one that kind of looks cool, like Styles said, to the younger people. So Aiden Ross, his whole audience is younger people. So it just made sense, I guess.
When I saw that, I was actually surprised. I was like, "What is?" I don't just seem Trump to seem like out of place.
I'm wondering what the thought process was for going with Aiden and not Kai.
Kai probably isn't very supportive.
You gotta think about it like as
probably
much.
not.
It feels like my thought process with Aiden is he's a super clout chaser. So by having Trump on there, probably threw his numbers through the roof.
Oh yeah,
and I don't
Probably went
know. Not to say that I'm not saying that Kai and them are that different. I don't get the feel that they're clout chasing like that.
No.
Plus, I think support of Trump is a tough one. It's like he's very polarizing. You either support him or you can't stand him. So I don't know if by having him on his stream would be beneficial for his audience anyway. So
Very interesting choice regardless.
yeah, it definitely is.
But it does seem like Trump has a lot of the younger people. It does appear that way. I could be totally wrong. But I don't know. Some of the issues that we're talking about with the presidency, it would seem like a lot more younger people would be voting blue than they would red. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see when
because this is after Biden
dropped out.
out,
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely.
I think that you also saw Trump change. Maybe they had this plan, but it feels like the change happened after Biden dropped out, where you saw him popping up places where you wouldn't really expect him, like when he was in Chicago for the black journalists.
Oh yes, yes.
Like
yeah.
that was also very like, okay, all right, I guess
Yeah.
you're trying. So
He's outside.
yeah. But speaking of choices, Kamala chose her VP pick, and he literally looks like the quintessential dad, American dad in like a show, in like a TV
like
show.
Peter.
Yeah, and I like him a lot.
You do?
Yeah, I like him.
Really?
He seems like very like jovial, but like
I agree
also
with that.
also was like, is that also not the pushover dad? Like, you're like, all right,
He'll put his
cool.
foot down.
Yeah, and from that standpoint, I could see that as a compared to, and it's unfair to compare everything to Biden because Biden's old. He's just old, right? It's facts.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was a little bit more,
That's why they got him out of here.
yeah, he was a little bit more energetic, younger, but then he was out there calling us super predators. So I don't know, but this guy, based on everything I've seen, he seems like even a better VP pick than I could have imagined, and definitely compared to JD Vance, it's just like JD Vance is weird. I know that that's the word that they keep using for the
Weird.
but he actually is weird. Like they asked him a question and he was like, "What makes you smile?" or something like that, and he laughed this really weird maniacal laugh and was
like he's a super villain.
yeah, he's like, yeah, stupid questions from the thing makes me laugh, and the agenda of the thing. At no point did he say family, like your wife, your kids. That would be my go-to answer anytime somebody asked me that, and I had kids. What makes you happy? My kids.
Oh,
man.
what makes you happy? Because I thought the question was what makes you laugh.
What makes you laugh?
Oh, well, maybe they don't make them laugh.
I guess. Wasn't it happy? It might have been happy actually.
Okay.
Happy sounds better.
If it's what
than
makes you
laugh.
happy and he's not saying his
Yeah,
family,
I think it was happy. I think
that's
it was
weird.
happy.
That's definitely weird.
So he's a little bit odd. So I like the choice, but I mean, time will tell. It's still happening in a very condensed timeline, and we're gonna have to see how that shakes out. But what are
Okay.
your thoughts on him?
Well, it didn't seem like he was struggling when he was speaking.
No.
I've seen a couple ads.
No.
And that was, I don't know why, but that's like my thing. Like, are you about to keel over?
He's energetic. He was kicking jokes.
Yeah. So I was like, I like that.
He definitely the little couch joke. I don't know if you heard the couch joke.
You mentioned it to me.
So the JD Vance thing, I don't know where it came from, but there's some joke about him having sexual relations with a couch.
That is so
I don't know
weird.
if it's
What?
true.
How's that a joke?
The internet did the internet thing.
Okay.
But what Tim, was it Tim? Yeah, Tim, Mr. Walls, because I keep putting a T there.
WLZ, right?
Yeah. People keep saying that black
WALZ.
people keep putting a T in his name because Walls in the
Walls.
walls. It's Walls. But he said, yeah, I'm ready to bait him if he's willing to get off the couch and do it. And just started laughing. And I was like, come on, the zingers.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Certified
I think,
dad jokes right there.
Yeah, I personally, I don't care for him.
You don't like him?
I don't care for him.
Why?
It's a very controversial reason why.
Oh, let's get it. Let's have it.
It's the whole gender affirming thing. I just feel like we really need to just keep politics away from children, and the fact that he's leaning into that kind of thing, I'm just not a big fan of that. So I was actually on board for Kamala until I heard him speak about that, and then I was like, yeah, I'm out.
I think that there's a little bit of, unfortunately, we've gotten to the point where identity politics is a big part of what gets people to the polls.
But that's going to draw in a crowd, and it's going to turn off a crowd. I'm part of that crowd where it's going to turn me off.
Has he turned you off enough to?
Yeah, I'm out.
Really?
I'm out. I'm totally out, because one of the biggest subjects for me when it comes to politics, and I don't want to make this a completely serious political debate, it's really about the future of the country, and I think children represent the future of the country. And if you're going to start screwing around with the future, then you lost me.
But the question there, and I'm gonna let you go because I know you had something, but the question there is, are you opposed to people having the ability to do that? Or is it like, do you just see it as wrong? Because
when it comes to little kids, I see it as wrong. Whether it be the parents making the decisions or the kids being allowed to make the decisions, I see that as wrong. I think that the human body, the human mind, everything in regards to a human being, 12 years old is a lot too young to be making any real lifelong decisions that are going to affect you well into the future of your life. So it should outright be, let's leave this alone. You're going to have to grow as you're supposed to. And then when you become an adult, you're free to do whatever you choose to. I don't like the mutilation, be it mentally or physically, of children, whether it be through the choices of their parents or the children themselves making these choices. I'm not a fan of that. So,
what do you?
No, I was gonna say. So a big thing for you is what the VP's doing and not what the president's doing.
Yeah, because I kind of get the feeling that party as a whole, that's one of their things.
Okay.
You know how we were mentioning Trump panders to certain groups?
Yeah.
They do as well.
All
and
politicians do, yeah.
that is one of their big things, and that's always been an area of contention for me.
Okay.
The one,
So-
yeah. My one follow up to that is that the thing about it on the other side is that it's so far because they want to remove everything. Now I can understand your space of being like, well, that's an adult decision that we're not letting a child do, and honestly, it's the same thing. It's like a child can't work until a certain point. A child can't,
Drink,
drink,
go to war.
you can't go to the military. Yeah. So there is a space there that I think it's very all or nothing on both sides. And that's the thing. I mean, I think that it's now, unfortunately, the trending thing. So people want to make sure it's included. And I think that we should never, to your point, there should not be politicized. It's
Yeah.
like this is a thing that, like, if they are being done, it shouldn't be something that's broken down by party lines.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's not really anybody's larger choice to make.
You, your family, and whoever your medical or psychiatric help is, that's where the decision making should be.
So I can agree with that part.
Bringing politics, but like I said, I
Yeah.
don't want to, because politics and religion, those are the two subjects
Yeah.
that could really,
Yeah.
divide.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But the funny thing is, I think that we need to be able to have difference in opinions when it comes to this stuff, and be able to talk about it. Because
we could have a cordial conversation
Yes,
and
but-
disagree with each other on these
Yeah.
subjects, but you know how it is.
But on
people,
yeah.
we just had someone attempt to assassinate Trump. There are people that
Yeah.
take this political thing to the next level, to the point where, okay, you don't agree with my way of thinking, I need to kill you.
Yeah.
But,
Blasphemy.
But I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
that is part of our problem as humans, and why we're in a place where it feels like, one, everybody's either super sensitive, or two, we don't talk across the line. So if you're, for example, if I identify as a Republican, automatically that ostracizes me from a bunch of people. It's like, no, I can.
And I
still-
think that's so weird to say I identify as a Democrat or identify as
Yeah.
both parties are gonna have issues that you agree and disagree with. So to say, "Yup, I'm here
this.
and this is what,"
But
I find that to be very weird. But
we could keep going on
Yeah,
that. The one thing
yeah.
I would say to that point in closing is that this is why we need to have more than two parties, because we've created a system that you're aligned to, and then it's like, well, my dad's dad, it was a Republican, so I'm always a Republican. Like that, you should have to make a decision
Right.
based on your choice. And for me, that's why it's funny, because I am currently registered as an independent, and my partner was like, "Oh, that's a dumb idea for one reason. You're not included in some of those conversations, like the primaries that you need to have. So you end up missing out on your ability to do anything because you're not a part of a party." But I don't also want to be considered just one thing because I am the fun one is that, well, because you're black, you're a Democrat. I'm like, I don't necessarily feel like that should be the case.
I agree with you.
But also, I don't see another party that represents exactly what I'm looking for. So
Right.
it's kind of a hard place to be. But enough politics. On to something that's not
Little-
as serious.
A little bit more lighthearted.
But the Olympics happened, and I don't think we're all super Olympic followers. I didn't really
We're
watch
not
the
big
games.
Olympic followers, but I know that if I were to ask either one of you gentlemen to bust out a move right now, you probably could do better than what we saw recently.
Listen, first
Damn.
of all,
I mean, I know I can. For
first
sure.
of all,
You said Kent?
Can.
Can,
The-
because
the-
that was some nonsense.
she listens from Australia, and so you remember she was throwing some kangaroo jumps in there.
Is that that's disgusting behavior, man.
Here's the problem: when we put something like this into the Olympics for the first time without having some maybe strong guidelines,
Some checks and balances,
you know,
yeah.
she shouldn't have been there.
Dude, you saw the dance?
Bro, you know what? I gotta give her kudos.
She kept a straight face during that.
She was confident doing that. She was confidently terrible.
Oh my God, man. And she's getting a lot of hate for it. She said she didn't expect this kind of backlash. That's what she said. There was an interview with her where she said, I was not expecting this. It sounds like her and her husband, and you know how people on the internet get, they start threatening your life when
It's a little extreme.
Because of the dance?
I don't think
Yes.
we should threaten it. It's like, yo,
Damn.
you look like you don't know what you're doing. But
You don't need to
Murder?
hurt them. Yeah, for that. Yeah, that's
You're gonna murder
a little
somebody
extreme.
because they can't dance? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Like,
man. Come
that's
on.
ridiculous.
Let Ray Gun live.
The one thing I would say, I was very happy for we saw like Simone Biles get back to the Olympics. I think that was great. Sha'Carri Richardson. So there was a lot of other people that, as I said, I don't follow, but those are ones that names who came up. The ultimate winner to me of the Super Bowl was Snoop Dogg. I was
Of the Olympics.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
You said Super Bowl, but it's
Damn.
fine. You know what I'm talking about.
The Olympics. The winner of the Olympics to me was Super Bowl.
He loves the Super Bowl.
Apparently,
This man
I never
loves
watched. Was Snoop Dogg, and for me, it was a win because it's like, look at where hip hop has come. To this guy is like literally like a United States representative of our culture. Like, to me, that's a big deal.
It is.
And the fact that he can be himself.
He's
all
still
day.
Snoop.
He's
He's
still
never
Snoop at
he's
all
never
times.
yeah, he's
That's the
never
key.
changed who he is. And I heard, and I didn't fact check this, but I heard he was getting $500K a day for being there.
Damn.
So he got the bag.
Listen, it's only few
beautiful thing.
people. There's only few people that are not related to me that I call uncle. Snoop.
You
style.
call him
Uncle
Uncle?
Snoop.
Yeah.
Uncle
That's
Snoop, bro.
That's Uncle right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
it
no
used to be
problem.
Uncle Snoop and Uncle Russell, but Russell lost his name.
Russell lost it.
Yeah, he lost it, bro.
He's off in Bali doing
Yeah.
something
It's,
else.
it's unfortunate, but like, he got me too'd.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I
Yeah,
give
he's-
him
he's outta
credit.
here.
Like to be a Los Angeles native that was wrapped up in gangs and to have your music career propel you to where he is today.
Household
it
name.
really is a beautiful thing. Yes,
Household
you're
name.
right, and it is a household name. I could go ask my 70-something plus mom, and
And
she
you
would know
know
who Snoop is. Like, his name carries across all borders, whether it be ethnicity, finances, it doesn't matter. People of every level of society will know who you're talking about when you mention Snoop Dogg.
And one of the things I think that's super cool about that is to watch like the evolution of hip hop, because hip hop really was that the music that was rejected from mainstream.
Yeah.
And even someone like Snoop, and thinking of his history, which I don't want to talk. I feel like every time we talk about somebody in their history, we always talk about the negative things. But like, to see him come from where he was to now is just like, it's nothing but commendable, and that's why, all props to Uncle Snoop.
No, for sure.
Yeah, they said he's one of the most famous rappers.
Yeah, and to watch what he just
straight
did,
up.
where he bought Death Row Records and all those masters, like, we don't give him enough credit, and it's like, he's actually a very solid dude, like married to the same woman, a lot of craziness going on, just bro.
Stays out of a lot of stuff.
Bro.
And one of the segments that we used to have as part of rap that we haven't done in a while is highlighting Black excellence. So I say, let's clap it up for our boy
Yeah,
Snoop,
man.
man. Black excellence,
Snoop.
Snoop Dogg,
Uncle
man.
Snoop.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, he was watching the breakdancing, and he was actually looked like he was enjoying some of those. I didn't see his response.
He should have just came out and
gave.
gave us a crip walk to get that
Yo,
nonsense.
he
off,
would have done a
man.
better job
He would have got a medal.
at dancing than that woman.
Yeah.
She should have. She. That's not for her.
So another thing they're talking about with the Olympics is the U.S. Basketball team
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
are you
undefeated.
surprised?
But
Undefeated.
by a small margin, I heard.
Is it though? So let me explain. So we won. It was like 8 games or something like that, and like 2 of them were super close, and we got a gold medal, right? So the issue is this guy something Tatum for the Boston Celtics. Jason
Tatum is the
Tatum, yeah.
Isn't he the actor?
No.
Oh, he's also
Jay.
okay. So he's also okay.
There's also Jason.
Okay.
There's a Jason Tatum that plays for the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
Right? And he was like, because they won the rings and everything. He was he wasn't the most valuable player, but he was like up there with contributing to them winning the championship, right? And so the people are some people, a lot of people are upset that he was on the bench, right?
Mm.
And they were saying, hey, the coach sucks. And so I said, hold on. What? They're like, yeah, because he didn't start him, or he set him on the bench, and we almost lost. That he's a bad coach.
Wow.
And I said, hold on. Yep, we went undefeated, right? They're like, yeah. I was like, we won a gold medal, right? Yeah.
So
Y'all
where's
starting
the
to get on my
prob-
nerves, bro.
Yeah, where's the
I don't like
problem?
people, bro.
Where's the problem?
Well, I'm like, damn, you gotta find something to be mad about.
of course.
Wait,
That's
they
people.
wanted. They also say like this team, and this might be blasphemy, is better than the Dream Team.
That's what
Ooh,
I
that's a-
heard.
that's
That's
a
what I
tough
heard. And
So-
for me, that's a little blasphemous, but I haven't kept up with basketball.
Yeah.
So I'm in no position to speak on the current team being better than the Dream Team.
So I was like, hold on, let me finish. Hold on, Styles. So I said, okay, well, let me ask you another question so I can really dissect this. Were the teams we were playing bad? Like, are they bad teams?
You know-
Someone said, hey, there were like 64 NBA players playing on other people's team. And we went undefeated. But the coach sucks because he didn't play this one guy.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on.
I feel like there was something more to that story though. Like there was something, and not just that the coach sucked, but like he had pissed somebody off or he said something
Mm-hmm.
in the way that similar. I don't know the facts, so don't quote me. But like the similar to like how Kyrie was, Kyrie said stuff and people don't like. Like he was like an anti-vaxxer or something like that, and people.
Oh, yeah,
didn't
the
like.
people was mad
So
about
I
that.
don't. I think he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had said something about the whole war in Gaza, and it was like pro-Palestinian, and so people were not really happy about that.
Okay.
Is that I remember this story. I'm once again maybe completely butchering this, but I think that's probably led to more of it. But then the NBA is all about politics, man.
Of course.
It's sad because it's like you think it's just about basketball, but it's really about politics. So
Yeah.
not politics like DC politics.
No,
but
I
there's-
know what you
Yeah,
mean.
There's politics being played. So
Yeah. Like network politics.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because if they're mad about that, my thing is from a politics standpoint, they like Tatum. Like, if it didn't affect the game, unless you're saying, oh, well, we came close to losing. I'm like, but you're playing exceptional teams. Do you want a blowout where you just like the U.S. just swept everybody
Right.
and there was no challenge? Because
Right.
then people gonna be like, oh man, the Olympics sucked this year.
Yeah.
There was no challenge.
Yeah.
So I guess the point I'm making is you can't win or lose in those type of like,
Right.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, you
Facts.
cannot look for appeasing any group because you appease one group and the other group's gonna have a problem, or vice versa. So yeah, it's kind of how it
Agreed.
is.
Definitely. I'd say, so yeah, that's it for the politics. We could talk on a little music, and so there's been a lot of back and forth between Dame Dash and Jay-Z about the Masters for Reasonable Doubt. Apparently, Dame Dash has been trying to sell his stake for a while now, and Jay's camp, because we don't know if it's actually Jay-Z that's doing this, has tried to block him. And so that's going on again, and I feel like there was some development there.
But he's being forced to sell this stuff, right?
I don't think so.
He's been trying to
he's been
sell
trying
it
to sell it.
independently for a while, and
Yeah.
No, I thought there was like the law told him.
No,
He had to do
he
something.
was trying to sell it, and they were trying to stop it from being sold
right, his
because
his share.
of it, which would have been a third of that, because he was part owner. So
And it includes Reasonable Doubt.
yeah, I think it was Reasonable
Which,
Doubt primarily. he was trying
And
to
my
sell.
understanding is Jay's team just tweeted, "Hey, even if you do buy this, understand that
There's other
in
people.
2031, I'm gonna own that again. So you could put up the money or whatever,
You're
but
gonna lose it.
but you're still gonna be in the loss in a few years.
The weird thing about that situation is if he wants to sell it, then why? Like, I guess I wish they would love to see them talk and be on the same page, but it does seem like that's probably never going to happen. But just buy him out. That's
True.
what I would do if that's the case. You
If
want to
that's
sell it?
yeah, agree.
Buy it out. I
Yeah.
have it, and me and Biggs can, me being Jay-Z, me and Biggs, we have it until
Maybe they don't want to
Pay him out
give
for
him.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, possibly, but 31 is that's not that far away.
No,
So-
no, it's not. You're
I mean,
only a
he's
few
been-
years.
And he's been at this for, I want to say, a good like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, he's. I would say more than that because this feels like something I've been hearing about since before the pandemic,
Yeah,
and that was 2020.
that's true.
So it's been a while
while.
that he's been trying to do this, and it's not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
Did you find something? Oh.
Yeah. It says, the New York judge ordered Rockefeller Inc. to deliver Dash's shares of the company to the U.S. Marshals to satisfy $823K.
Oh,
Judgment.
Oh,
he has
well,
a
dang.
tax thing.
Damn.
I don't know what the judgment is for.
Oh, okay. So
But
that's
yeah.
the
That
reason
changed,
why.
It changed the
This
dynamics
is the
of
settlement.
things.
Settlement.
Okay.
Interesting. I didn't know
Because he
that part.
declined. Because it doesn't. Dame doesn't sound like the type who wants to sell anything
Yeah.
of his, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, but yeah, after declining to sell it, they forced him to.
Oh.
Judgment from his 2022 legal clash with Josh Weber, producer of Muddy Water Pictures.
Interesting. So
This
he's
is
being
why-
forced.
This is why I feel like it's important to have layers and layers between you and your ownership of stuff. I mean, I don't want to get into financial, suggestions or anything like that, but like if you got to that point, like if he was sued and his company owned that, or like a
I
company
get what you're
owned
saying.
that share,
Yeah.
like with some layer. That's how a lot of companies, like like Google is owned by a parent company called Alphabet, right?
Right.
Like that level of shielding allows
Right.
you to not have certain things go into question. So, I would, it's all great to say that in hindsight, but like that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And also in music, I know we have been talking about Drake for the whole year,
Yeah.
as a result of his debilitating loss to Kendrick Lamar. I enjoy it. I listen to Not Like Us at least 3 times a week.
Wow. Okay, you're dedicated to the cause.
First of all, I want to point out I was a Drake fan. I still like some of Drake's original records, but I've been a K-Dot fan for so long. And people
You listen to Untitled Unmastered,
Yep.
and I refuse to.
I love that
so,
record.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a diehard. So this is a win. And honestly, if we think of all the great beefs, the Biggie and Tupac, I was a Biggie fan. Technically, it felt like Biggie didn't really win that one. I was a Jay-Z and Nas. I was a Jay-Z fan.
Nas.
Nas won.
Okay.
Everybody can agree that Nas won
Just see
that
where your
battle.
head's at. All right.
Jay-Z won the war because
I mean,
why would you say he won the war?
Because I feel like
Didn't he sign to Rockefeller?
they did the records together. He wasn't signed to Rock Nation,
They
but
did
I think
that
Roc
Black
Nation, I mean?
Republicans.
yeah, he was signed to Def Jam when I
Okay.
think Jay-Z was a CEO, was the president or
I
whatever.
won.
And on top of that too, like if you listen to 50, if you let 50 Tell It, he's like, it's so interesting that every time that Nas was dropping, Jay would just
drops.
drop at the same time, and he
I
would
heard
drop a
about that.
joint with Beyonce, so it's like overshadowed. So it was like, I think that there's still some petty feelings there.
but
but-
the pettiness you think is what
It's
has
continued.
won him the war?
Nah, I just feel like he's been consistent at taking the jabs, even though it's not apparent to everybody.
Yeah, but if you keep jabbing, but you
He lost.
I was
He
about to
lost.
say if
He took-
I knocked you out and you're on the floor and that was the end of that, and then over the years you just come and you throw a little petty jab here and it's like, come on, man.
If you knock me
it's
out,
over.
If you knock me out, right? I was like, all right, cool, we win that one, fair one, whatever. But on the 6th of every second month, you gotta get a new tire, and you don't know why. Who really won?
I don't know if I would consider that winning though. I don't know if I consider
No,
that winning.
that's a petty god. That's a
Yeah.
petty.
I would say my idea of it is like who's been able to maintain their success at a high level.
I'd still
Okay.
be Jay-Z. It would be Jay-Z in that case. Nas has been good.
Yeah,
Not to
and,
take it-
and Nas made a comeback.
Nas
from-
music, yeah, but
with the Nas diseases and stuff.
yeah,
So
he
it's kind of hard to say that now, but like from a like, I'm gonna say this respectfully. My girl is better than you. My kids is better than you. Like my house is better than yours. My business acumen, if that's the word, is better than yours.
I would argue Nas is actually better
At what?
Right.
as business.
Right.
Nas
Business?
is actually
Okay.
better.
Nas is quietly an angel investor making millions and millions of dollars with mouth shut.
Yes.
I didn't
Okay.
even know he was an angel investor in Coinbase.
I
That
didn't
was
know.
one of the ones that made him tons and tons of money. Apparently, he invested in that when it was still, because, it's crypto. So he invested in that when it was a nothing company, put money for the startup. And when they went live, that Coinbase stock went out of control. I heard he made well over $100 million on just that.
Okay.
So his business acumen is on point. And musically, he's
He's still
killing
going.
Jay.
Yeah.
Jay has not dropped an album, and the last one was 444. Nas
That
has
was-
dropped all those King Diseases, and he's dropped the Magic albums, and those Magic albums are fire.
Yeah.
The
He's
one-
done 6 albums back to back to back to back to back that has been just fire. So I don't know. Other than Jay having Beyonce, like, what is he doing?
Which is
Okay,
like-
whoa. We're not gonna. No, we're
What?
not gonna do that. Stop. You
They
said-
had a whole girl beef.
yeah, but that he
The whole I
didn't-
slept with your girl in the car and all
yeah,
this other
yeah,
stuff.
but that wasn't even anybody recent. Like that was like.
I'm just saying that's a part of the equation.
Listen, they had
no?
more in common, you know. Anyway,
All I'm
but-
saying, I was gonna say, I'm seeing based off what you're saying. I think the war is ongoing. Then it had, like
Well,
this is not it hasn't
the
ended.
comparison keeps going on,
There
and
we
it's
go.
just people doing it.
I think
Yeah.
it's just honestly that
'Cause they pieced it up.
Yeah, they're fine. I think
they're
it's the
good, yeah.
competitive nature of hip hop where we always see other people against each other. So that's the thing. I wouldn't say Jay-Z is not good at what he's doing business wise because what he's
Of
been able to
course
do
not.
with Rock,
We cannot
Rock
say
Nation, Rock Sports, Rock Nation Sports, like there is a lot of stuff that he's doing that you cannot deny. But it also was like a build up from the stuff he was doing before. Like he just kept going.
Of course, and he's
Um,
clearly one of the you know how they talk about the forefathers of hip hop.
Yes.
He's clearly taken on that role now because he does a lot of things in the background that clearly are affecting the black community as a whole because of the whole one of them, the NFL deal.
Yeah.
You saw what has happened to the Super Bowl since then
Yeah.
in terms of the performers we've
Yeah.
seen on it
Yeah.
and things like that, as well as just something that is as small as when 21 Savage ran into his issues.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jay-Z's team is the one that put in the call and got him cleared up. So he's doing a lot of great things out there.
Yeah.
I think it's just people like us just
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
we're
making the
we're
comparisons.
just
but
making
clearly,
that. But
Go
to land that plane,
yes.
the Jay-Z and Nas thing happened. I was a Jay-Z fan. Nas won. Kendrick and Drake. I was like, I got to pick a side, and decided it was Kendrick, and he mollywopped him. Anyway,
We say all of that
So-
to say,
right. What
because there was a
happened?
point.
Yeah, what
I
happened?
know. So Drake released 100 gigs of music. I don't remember if we talked about it already. We
Music
probably
and
did.
videos.
Music
Like
and videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that was wild about this is that he got a copyright strike from UMG on the stuff that he released because he released music, which took you back to the $400 million deal that he did, where they are essentially have him in a 360 deal. Which at some point I think we should talk about what 360 deal because it gets thrown around a lot and people don't necessarily know. But
And that's probably for your
yeah, for not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But one of the things I would say is like essentially a 360 deal is you're selling your likeness, you're selling pretty much all your rights to your music, apparently even interviews, anything you do from a content standpoint.
I heard even your concerts, they're
yeah,
in your
everything,
pockets
your
for that.
merch, your everything.
Which was
So
always something that artists always said, you know what?
would
I don't
keep that
care
with
how
it.
bad the
Mhm.
record deal is.
I'll make my money.
That's kind of like a way of me putting myself out there because the money that I'm truly trying to make is at the concert with
Yeah.
merch sale and the concert tickets and such.
Yeah,
and in
tour
the
dates.
360 deal, they own part of that too.
So the weird thing about that, and that I didn't understand, is like someone at Drake's level, even if he didn't have the full machine, he has enough clout to pull in the people that he needed to go independent and make way more money. So he signed off on a $400 million deal to sign off on that, so he just has access to this machine. But the fact that you can't even release music, and honestly, it sounds like the music that he released on there were actually like good tracks that were like actually making people forget about the ass whooping that he took. So, but then to get a copyright strike on it and have it taken down is wild.
And I also heard those tracks streamed horribly too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've heard that they like
Oh, I
they
think they were
didn't-
good. I didn't.
I
Hear 'em.
mean, I listened to a couple of them. The one with him, 21, and
Mm-hmm.
Thugger. I listened to. I personally didn't find anything.
good.
Yeah, like it's
Interesting.
been hard for me to enjoy Drake for his music
time.
for a while, though. You
Mm-hmm.
know this. It's been a very, very long time. So,
But aren't all these just throwaways anyway?
It
well,
sounded-
they were recorded. I mean, yeah, I guess you could call them
Because he would have
throwaways.
just put them out if it
Right,
wasn't a
exactly,
throwaway.
exactly.
Well, I mean, realistically, if you think about that machine that they have over there, he's always doing music. Like he's probably still
Constant.
recording.
Yeah,
So
of
there's a lot
course.
of records out there that he probably would not release at all. But one of the things I think the 100 gig idea was to just flood it with a bunch of different stuff, so people are talking about something other than the fact that he got his ass whooped. And people out here calling him a minor lover.
Oh my god.
So with that being said, do you think that that strategy, he accomplished that strategy?
What, with the music?
Well, I put this out and now more people are talking about the 100 gigs than.
I think he did. Me personally, after his loss, and the moves that he's been making, I definitely am starting to see him in a little bit more of a different light, because I noticed that he's doing a lot less talking, because he used to do a lot of posting and he's doing a lot less of that, and I think he's just kind of like putting content out and kind of allowing his image to be restructured to a degree. So I think it did what it needed to, but people did say that he has been fulfilling everything that Kendrick has said.
Yep.
Because he hasn't rapped since. Everything that has come out has been Drake with the melodies. And this content that he put out, the one track that people did like is the track with 21 and Thug. And they said anytime he needs a check, he goes to Atlanta. And, doesn't look good for him, right? So there's no moves he's going to make where he's not going to take a tax, man.
Yeah.
But
also, the other thing, too, was he's talking about, like, Kendrick splits on his record. And I'm like...
Meanwhile, your
bro,
business
you can't even release music yourself?
Yeah, your business is not good.
You can't even leak something. You have to leak it yourself. And even then, they'll take it down. Like, getting a copyright strike on your channel for your music feels crazy to me.
Not being able to leak your own content is wild. Crazy.
It's wild.
Me.
And honestly, but I mean, it gave him money, right? And there's a whole other question. There's a whole other question on, like, how much does your art cost? Because I feel like they got that at a discount.
Do you think they gave him a call and said, "Don't do that again"?
Probably.
Like they probably sunned him.
Listen. You know what Kanye said? He's like, "Yo, he got a rich baby daddy." You know, he been like. Honestly, the weird thing about it is it makes you question a lot of things about Drake, because you're like, well, if you were really about anything other than just making money, would you have given away all of this? Your ability to do anything, and that's why it's like the 360 deal conversation is gonna have to happen. But like it's just very fascinating as someone who's a creator. Like if someone came to me right now and was like, "I'll give you 400 million for all the stuff that you do," I'd have been like, "Well, wait, like can we section off something? Like what would y'all do? Like if someone came to us and said, "Give us 400 million,"
who I am today,
you'll take the 400 million.
That's not even a question.
No brainer.
What have I done that's worth 400 M's?
But I'm saying, like,
if
right
I was
now,
Drake, probably not. But me being who I am,
right
was
now,
Drake.
and I guess
like Drake, especially I think that Drake is at a level where he didn't need to do that.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
Unless there's something behind the scenes that he knows that we don't know. The only conclusion I can get is like you just want to get paid.
Cash. I think there was probably a little pressure there too, because think about it. If we've seen a change where a lot of artists are moving to independent, it's a trendy thing right now. So what would it mean for one of the biggest record labels to have their largest artists just disappear and go do independent? And so you think
it was some Illuminati type stuff?
No, I do think there was some pressure.
To his head, like, yo, take this 400 minutes.
I think there's some pressure because and the pressure is like, hey, listen, we'll give you access to this. If you need anything, we'll probably give you a black card access. There's probably perks in it that we're never gonna see because they don't see that in the contract.
We're not privy to that.
But it's 100%. There has to be some extra things because there's no way you could tell me. It's like when you saw there was some artist that sold all of their rights to their music. And I'm like, why would you sell the rights to your music? But
I thought the goal was to get
the rights.
People are striving. That's why it just confuses me because especially in this day and age, people are striving to get their rights back.
But he's giving it up.
I think that some people, for them it's easy. It's an easy money grab, and you figure like, well, it's only gonna make a certain amount over a certain amount of time, so I get the guaranteed money now versus the money I would get later. Plus. Some people are just, willing to pop ass with the people.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
They told him drop
and
give me 50. That's funny.
That's a whole other conversation. But that's all we have for this part. If something else, we're gonna try to do, and we may not. Wait,
for music.
No, that's all we have for the
So
podcast.
the Social Security stuff,
Wow, I did not write it down.
because that's
a big one.
I'm scared and I need
Yeah,
some
you
guidance.
guys are gonna
Aaron.
have to. You guys are gonna have
Oh,
to
you hear
fill
about
me
it?
in
Okay.
on what happened with the leaks
Wow.
because I'm not
I'm
familiar with
about
the
to
leaks.
drop that like nothing apparently. So apparently this it was came aware of the fact that pretty much a lot of our social security numbers got leaked in some breach that happened over the week. And so like one person I was following was saying like go and freeze your accounts on all your things and do not the ones that like all of them offer an option to pay to do it, which that's not what you do. They legally are required to allow you to freeze your credit. So they recommend doing that. I don't really have a lot of specifics on the leak. I just know that it was kind of terrifying for me because it's like this. If this stuff is available to anybody and anybody who wants to do anything malicious has access to it, we could all end up, with houses that we don't even own, that we're not even asking for.
Sick.
And what do you do? Like it takes
Sick.
7 years to clear that up. And that's if they find it. Like if at any point they assume that it is semi legitimate, you could end up having to deal with that, and that can change your whole life.
That's crazy.
And so a couple parts. One part, they were like, well, this is a grandfather company that's housing all this data. What the fuck? Like it's not like you're a new company just getting, you've been around for a while. Why isn't your security up to par at this point
That's nuts.
in your large company? The second part was I saw an article that was like, hey, if you want to see if it was leaked, put your birth date in your name.
Okay.
in
So
your
now you have the
LinkedIn.
social security number. Let me give you the rest of the
I
information.
said, hold up, nah.
That's nuts.
That's suspicious.
Hey,
That's
listen,
suspicious.
we're in a time now where I feel like the next I was gonna say the next world war will be a digital one, but
Yeah.
honestly, we could have a real one too. The way that things are going,
Yeah,
but
of course.
I feel like there is going to be a space where we need to be very conscious about where we put our information and what, especially when it comes to stuff like this. Like, I never understood like why it wasn't made commonly available that you should just lock your credit. Because honestly, it's not that hard. I literally went to go check for a car loan and I said, "Hey, what does it normally pull from?" Oh, this one went to my phone and I unlocked it, and it locked back in 2 days, right?
Yep.
And honestly, that should be good credit hygiene because at this point, if someone steals your credit, you're screwed, and there's nothing you can do about it.
This
Forget
is
about
true.
getting a house. Forget about getting a car. You have to deal with that until the investigation is done, which can take up to 7 years.
Mm.
That's almost 10 years of your life that you'll be, impacted by someone taking your information.
That's nuts. Yeah, mine has
So-
always been frozen. I only unfreeze it when I need it. So
Yeah,
yeah, like you said, good credit hygiene.
I think that should definitely be one of those things. But if you haven't done it, I recommend you do it.
Yeah, look
because
into it. I wasn't
It
even
doesn't cost
aware.
you anything.
No, it's free.
It doesn't cost you anything,
absolutely
and
free.
it's honestly it only hinders you if you're going to go get something and you just know to turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I was thinking because I never known to freeze my credit until I spoke to these gentlemen here.
Minor inconvenience.
Yeah, because
For
it's like,
for a way better outcome, because if I can control it,
let's weigh it, right?
yeah, if I can control whether or not you can take my information if you want, but you ain't getting nothing.
It's like a credit card that you don't use.
Yeah.
Keep the card active. Go in the app, freeze the card.
Yeah,
And one of the big questions I had, I'm just saying this for the viewers and listeners, was like, okay, what does that do to my credit? Does it do anything when I freeze it? And Aaron let me know, like, yeah, it doesn't.
Doesn't do
Doesn't-
anything. You just
you
can't
can't
apply
add
for
new
new
things,
credit
yeah.
until you unfreeze it. So
it's it's such a wild thing because theoretically, that should just be the other way around. It should just be frozen or locked until you need to use it, and then there's an active. Oh, I need to log into my stuff, or I need to turn it on or call somebody. Honestly, it would lead to a lot, in my mind, better financial decisions because there's a step you need to take. You can't impulse buy something that
Right.
needs your credit if you have to unlock it.
which is what happened to me. I just told the story. I was in the market for a washer and dryer. I went to Lowe's and they had this ultra low interest rate if you decided to use their credit. And when I was buying the washer and dryer, I said, all right, let's go for it. and I was denied. And when I saw why I was denied, I was like, all right, screw it. You know what? I'm not going to go forward with it. That would have been an additional hit to my credit, which would have brought the credit down. And I would have had another line of credit with another company that was open. I didn't do it. I had a card that had no interest for a certain period, so I decided to use that card, and I went on about my business. So like Styles mentioned, it just puts you in a position where it adds one more layer of protection to your credit, where you might lead to making better purchasing decisions because you can't just say, all right, here's my Social Security, run my credit, and let me just go run it up, So
One thought I had was when they increase your credit for a credit card you already have, will that be possible if your credit's closed?
yeah, because that's happening at the card level with that company.
Okay.
Also, they already have your information.
Right. They
So
don't
it's
hit
like-
your credit for that.
Yeah, they're not going to check your credit for that. So
They usually do that based on your spending and purchasing habits, as well as the way you've been paying that card. So they don't need to hit your credit. They just go ahead and do it as a result of basically good habits. So,
But yeah, so I'm glad you reminded me about that one.
Yeah,
that was a big-
that one, and
I
I
couldn't
don't
believe
hear
it.
that many people talking about it. To be honest with you,
You know what? It's so funny. I saw it on Thursday of last week. I saw like a multiple posts about it, and then it just kind of went away, which is odd to me once again because it's like this is kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal.
it really
Like,
is.
Think
I
about it,
mean,
the fact that like literally, and people have, to go old school, Rolodex worth of security numbers, social security numbers that they can pull from, and they have the. I don't know what information they have. Like, do they have your credit? I'm assuming
Your
they have your
birth
credit.
date
Do they have
and
your
your-
credit score, or they just out there trolling, and we don't even know.
yeah.
So
and I saw something about like they're auctioning it. Like, so it might not even be like
available.
no, it might not even be like the people who actually stole it are going to use it.
They're
They
just
just
going to sell it.
They just trying to make money. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
then damn, like
That's even worse because
That's
you don't
even
even know
worse.
where it's going to end up. And
yeah,
so,
exactly. It
I
could
don't know.
end up
I
in
think-
China or something.
I think that we damn, we go to Chinese. The Chinese just took a blow like that. For
I don't know. I
reason?
don't know why I threw that straight over there.
Oh wait, I did forget something. Jeez,
Tuh.
you talk. Well, this is terrible now because it sounds like I'm comparing the two, which I'm not.
Okay.
Well, put a disclaimer out there
For the record,
that
we're
people
gonna
will ignore.
pause. All right. So another thing that happened.
That's funny.
Another thing that happened was the crash, the Japanese crash that caused the crypto markets. We completely forgot. Man, we're not prepared for this episode. Apparently, it's been
Or
a
are
long
we?
week.
Yeah. What?
Or are we?
Oh, are we?
Oh, or
Well,
are
we
we?
just got caught up talking and then we forgot that we were shooting an episode here. But
Yeah.
can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because you're the one that brought that up.
Yeah, so apparently the Japanese Federal Bank raised their interest rates by I believe it was 0.25%, and when that happened, there was a crash that took place on the Japanese stock market, and it goes really technical and in depth, but a lot of people were basically borrowing money they were borrowing money, but they were borrowing against the Japanese yen and then doing their business in USD because the Japanese yen was a little bit weaker in comparison to the USD. So when the Japanese Federal Bank raised the interest rates, it strengthened the Japanese yen, which then made it a little bit more strong against what you would have already been leveraged in, which was USD. That caused the market to crash. And that crash didn't just affect the Japanese stock market because now we're dealing with things that are happening on a global level. It affected the U.S. stock market, and as a result of affecting the U.S. stock market, of course, it affected riskier assets, which crypto took a big hit as well. So it was coined as being the biggest crash in the Japanese stock market since what they noted as being Black Monday, which took place back in 1987. So yeah, it was a big ripple effect that took place in the markets about 2 weeks ago.
Because I remember hearing something like, I don't know, last year or something like that, where they were like, hey, there's might be them, Japanese. I don't know who it was. It's either China or Japanese, but somebody's money was supposed to be in competition with US. Like they were like,
That was
oh,
BRICS, right?
get scared. because
Oh,
their money is
yeah.
about to be more important.
That's probably what you heard about the BRICS economy.
okay.
Which is it's Russia,
There we go.
China,
Yeah.
Iran. Yeah,
What
it's
happened
all
with
these-
that?
Brazil.
It's still Brazil. It's still that's their goal is to create another economy that does not rely on trading in USD, and that is still under process. Yeah,
But this is separate from the Japanese crash. Okay.
Russia and all those other economies are definitely trying to get away from trading in USD just because they believe that the US has too much power. And of course, with the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict that's currently going on, US usually puts sanctions on countries who
They cut their credit.
right. So
I said, dang,
they want to
we can do
be
that?
free of the US dollar because they think that it gets abused whenever the US does not agree with whatever these other nations are doing. So yeah, that BRICS economy, and there's more nations that are signing on to be a part of the BRICS economy. So yeah, we're going to see. As a matter of fact, they have said that since the pandemic, the US dollar has lost 25% of its purchasing power globally. So the US dollar is starting to show some weakness.
That's tough.
It's sad that it has to happen during our time when
That's
we're
what I'm
trying
saying,
we're
bro.
trying to buy houses, build businesses, and
Yeah.
here it is, the economy is just taking a complete dump on us, man. So it makes it even more difficult for us.
You know what's funny? Because you hear a lot of the like, oh, the millennials are lazy, blah blah blah, from like older like boomers and stuff, and you're like,
Boomers would not be able to accomplish what they accomplished then now.
at all.
The
Not even
economy was
close.
completely different. So yeah.
Yeah, it's
Baby
just-
boomers had it easy.
Don't let them tell it.
Yeah, I know. The way they tell the story is they were harder workers. And there's a little
There's
bit
a
of
level
that
of
too. There's a little
fact
bit of
to
that
that.
too,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But quite frankly, things are just not the same because their dollar was a lot stronger. And when you look at the way that just home costs have increased over time,
And wages have not.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the wages they were making were in line with what the economy was at the time, where they could stay home. I'm sorry, the women could stay home, take care of the kids and the house, and the man could go out and be the breadwinner, and it
Everybody's
worked.
good. Yeah.
Try to do that in this economy, making less than 200 to 300, maybe 350. It all depends on the city you live in. But I would say average nationally, if you're not making more than 250 or above, you need your partner to work. Otherwise, you guys as a collective are going to struggle, or you choose not to have children.
That's the other thing. You throw children in a mix, and I keep hearing the cost of like childcare and like daycare and all that stuff.
Astronomical.
And I'm like, yo, I need to open up a daycare.
I know someone that pays
Bro.
$4,000 a month
For how many kids?
one.
Oh my God.
But they're getting what, 2 square meals at the daycare?
I don't know what they're getting.
Breakfast and lunch?
But it ain't worth $4,000.
$4,000 a lot.
I am gonna get a freaking auto feeder like the cat has, and I'm gonna be like, listen, young one,
You're not gonna be able to do
make
that,
it happen.
sir.
What?
And with
Sir.
the water drink that comes out.
Sir, you're gonna end up in jail, sir.
But
Listen, don't ask, don't tell.
Okay, well, we're not gonna.
3 square meals and water? Come
oh
on,
my
man. And I'll
goodness.
put one of those Ring cameras. I can talk to
Okay,
you.
All right, this is going.
while you at work, right?
Yeah, like, yo,
and you come back to your house,
clean
it's
up
burnt
after
down.
yourself.
Your house is burnt down or covered in poop.
Listen,
Listen,
if they're on their hands and knees just crawling around, how are they gonna burn the
my
house down? You know,
But my thing
they
is,
took care of themselves in the womb. What happened?
yeah, but you bring your house with you. Yeah.
I think they had some things to facilitate that.
Yeah, yeah.
In the womb.
A little,
But-
all right, maybe I'll have to rethink that.
Yeah, I
then. I'm
definitely think you
sorry.
do. Anywho, we could end up talking here for a very long time, but we appreciate you making it here. If we do have another section, I know we had said we are going to try doing like a hybrid where if there's some other stuff
If
happens,
there's any big news that takes place before the month ends, be sure we're gonna pop out and show you.
facts, it
Yeah.
might be on Juneteenth too, you know? But on that note, we thank you for making it this far, and if that's the case, we will see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace. The one thing no one talks about.